top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know, on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm just kidding, guys. Obviously, we're usually live at 5:45. But your boy was getting a little bit of a fade, or I guess I just got shaved bald completely. But what is going on, everybody? Sorry about the late start time here, as I did get stuck in some crazy traffic, which, by the way, guys, was not due to any kind of construction or anything. People just falling asleep at the wheel. I don't know. But what is going on, guys? We got an amazing show for you tonight. We're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin. We're taking a look at those key levels, guys. As you know, I am potentially expecting some higher prices here on Bitcoin. Not only were we looking for that all-time to get hit, but we are now potentially looking for a breakout of our local range to some higher prices. I want to talk about those targets to the upside, not only for Bitcoin, but also Ethereum, as Ethereum has gotten a little bit of a move up as well. So I want to take a look at that on top of Bitcoin, and obviously, we'll take a look at those altcoins about halfway through the stream. I actually have a couple alts I want to take a look at with you guys. Some of the altcoins we've been watching on this channel have been doing pretty good. But before we get into it, guys, shout out to the CandleMafia. Don't forget to smash that like button. Every 100 likes we get, you guys get to spin on the wheel of pain and pleasure. And the more spins, the more wins, the more free crypto. The more wins, the more free crypto. You guys know the deal. We're late to the charts here. Let's go ahead and jump right into the charts. Shout out to the CandleMafia. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you. And without further ado, let's go ahead and check out those charts. Let's get into it. So here we are, guys. And shout out to Golden for the 50 Frankie Candles memberships. I might be late, but Golden is right on time with those memberships. Shout out to Golden. Thank you so much, bro. I don't know what button this is, but we're just going to hit. Hopefully it's a jack. There it is. Shout out to Golden. Spam that golden emoji if you just got a membership. And shout out to the Mafia. Golden, you are insane, bro. I don't know if there's anybody who subscribes to this YouTube channel without a membership. So shout out to Golden. If you just got those memberships, guys, drop that golden emoji. We call those showers of the golden emoji. Shout out to Golden. But with all that being said, guys, let's jump right into the charts here. Now, obviously, yesterday on the live stream, we were looking at this local range, right? There are actually two ranges I was looking at. I was looking at this local range here. As you guys know, I did take a short at the top of that range, looking for it to go back down to the local bottom of that range. Let me go ahead and pull that actual volume profile here. Looking for that short to bring us from this high all the way down to that low. And to be quite honest with you guys, I actually wound up getting stopped out at break even on this trade. Unfortunately, actually it was a slight loss. I actually lost $9 on this trade. But no big deal. It was a little scalp short. Obviously, I am looking for higher, so I am holding more of my bigger positions are on the long end of things. And let me see here, as I did just sit down at the computer, I may need a couple minutes to log in to my Femex account and my BingX account to show those trades. I'll do that in a minute, but I really want to cover the price action here, guys. Now, as you know, we were looking, obviously, I was looking to take that scalp short, but in the grand scheme of things, this was just a small position that I was looking to scalp for a few bucks. But we were at the end of the day, really anticipating not only a revisit of this but this, bigger range high, but also potentially looking for a move back to the upside to take those new all-time highs, which are just sitting, slightly above our previous all-time at 69,000. Current all-time high, at least here on the Bybit chart, is about $69,775. So are we going to come up and take these highs? Potentially. And then obviously, I talked about this yesterday. We did get the swing failure pattern at that all-time high retest, and then that's kind of what caused this big push to the downside. I am still holding my long from down here at about 61.5. I don't know if that's my exact entry, but this was the level we were looking for. We found our confirmation, so I am still holding that long. I will pull it up in just a minute, but the question is, what can we expect next here on Bitcoin? So for the most part, guys, as we take a look at the daily here, the signals on the indicators are a little bit mixed right now. I will say, daily time frame, VWAP is starting to curve back up towards that zero line, which is a good signal, like, for the time being. But the problem here is this could easily get rejected at the zero line. So until we start printing and confirm that green dot, there's really not much to take away from here. But for the time being, this is looking about as good as it can look, other than printing a green dot. So once we see that green dot, we may see it pop up here in about 54 minutes and 42 seconds. And if we do get that green dot, that may be the thing that's able to push us above those highs. And again, I am going to cover those targets to the upside. How high do I think we can go? And if you watch the channel, you guys will know that, we have looked at these levels recently, but I will just bring them up again today for anybody that may have missed them. With that being said, guys, I am still holding my longs, waiting for that potential higher price to get hit. As always, as we do have this key level of resistance up here, which is, I know it's labeled swing failure pattern because that's what we were looking for right here on the retest, which we did wind up getting. I'm actually going to take this off because I won't be looking to swing fail this exact level when we come back up. We could potentially swing fail this new wick up here, but this level is no longer a swing failure level. Nonetheless, I mean, you could swing fail it, right? But for the most part, this is really just the previous now, right? This is now the prev all-time high, right? No longer the actual all-time high. But just so everybody knows what that level is, we could obviously continue to see resistance on this level, guys. So if we do, I want to talk about kind of what I'm looking for here, right? Because, again, could we swing fail this level? Potentially. Really, the level I would be looking for a potential resistance would be just a couple of bucks above this at $69,469. I'm sorry, guys. Did I just say 69,700 was the all-time high? I apologize. I was reading the wrong number. The all-time high, what I'm looking at here is the H here. This is the high of the candle that you're hovering over. I think I was just reading over here. I don't know why. But yeah, we hover over this candle. You could see $69,496. I think I may have said $69,775. That is not the case. That is the wrong number. So there you go. $69,496 is that all-time high, and that is going to be, it adds to this zone of resistance that we have, right? Because obviously we got a harsh rejection here with that swing failure pattern. When we come back up, we could expect this to potentially look at this as potential resistance. But the real question is, right, like everybody really wants to know, Frankie, sure, maybe we come up here, maybe we get some short confirmations, and this is how I will be handling this level, guys. When we do approach this, although I am expecting to come take these highs, it doesn't mean that I'm expecting to take these highs and go to 100K instantly, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we wind up getting a move above this level and we either see another swing failure pattern, or maybe even potentially we come up here and, if we don't get the swing failure and we do not get a strong breakout to the upside and just start screaming to our next levels, what I will be looking for is very simple. It's going to be what I look for every single time price moves, and it is for the move to that key level and then look for that consolidation to create some kind of a range so I can then pull a volume profile and then trade within the context of that local range. I will be looking for longs at the lows as well as shorts from the highs. Now, if I'm able to catch a short at the high here, it's nice, right? Because we have the potential possibility of making a bigger move to the downside. And then at that point, you would be short from the tippy top. And then likewise, or I guess in opposite fashion, if we come down to the low of that local range and I get bullish confirmations below, I will be looking for a long position that could wind up playing out more to the upside. And that is simply put how I'm going to be handling this, this kind of next key level of resistance. Now for the juicy stuff, right? The saucy stuff here. What can we look for if we get a push above this level and we just kind of start flipping this to support? Where's that next key level to the upside is really what everybody wants to know. And simply put here, guys, what I will be looking at, let me see if I can pull up see if we can pull up that Bitstamp chart, come up to a higher time frame. I am looking for a very specific Bitstamp chart with our spider lines. Where is it? Well, let me see here. Let me pull up. Where's the live stream chart? Bada boom, bada bing. There we go. So really, for the most part, guys, I don't have it marked out on this chart. I'm sorry I was late to the show here, so I didn't have it prepped for you guys. But if you watched the live streams previously, you could even tune into yesterday's live stream or the day before. We actually look at the key levels. I don't really want to spend too much time trying to find the exact level that I was trying to find the exact chart, because we're already late here. But if you guys watch the show, you will know the kind of next zone that I'm looking at is a couple of spider lines that are sitting between about $72,000 to $77,000. Obviously, $81,000 is another level that we have been looking at, which is a Fibonacci retracement level, right? Or a Fibonacci extension level is what I should say. And let me see if I'm pretty sure I have that box marked out on the chart here. Might have cleaned it up, to be quite honest with you guys. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. That's the last time I get a haircut this late in the day, that's for sure. Nothing goes, guys. When you move out of a fast-moving state like New York, you really got to prepare for the southern lag, I call it. Not a bad thing, just polar opposite of New York. But let's see here. Bada boom, bada bing. I really wish I could pull up this. I really wish I could just find this actual chart, guys. It would be so much more helpful just to look at these exact levels. And here we are. Okay, so we were able to find it. Let's come up to the daily time frame. The next key levels to the upside, guys, are they're pretty simple. I'm going to come back to, I see the super chats coming in, guys. I will come right back to these in just a minute, but I just want to at least cover Bitcoin real quick. Next key level to the upside is going to be this spider line right here, guys. Now, obviously, this does trend up over time, so depending on how quickly we get up there, this is going to be the next key level, but it also does move up over time. So, if we bing-bong around here and then come up, obviously, this level will be higher. If we shoot up to it right now, it is coming in at about $75,000. So the reason I say 72K, guys, this is kind of rough, to be honest with you, right? Because if we get a horizontal ray here, $70,000 is just above us, right? That is likely going to be some kind of psychological resistance, and we could reject off that level. This is definitely something you want to look at, right? Just because of the psychological factor. So 70,000 even. That is kind of your first most local level. But to be quite honest with you guys, the fact that we have already tested so closely to this, I don't really know. I mean, unless we get a swing failure pattern of the actual wick high here, maybe we will look back in time and say, oh, we rejected 70K. But I'm assuming, right, we've already almost tapped 70K. So assuming we get above 70K, the next target I would look at is this spider line, again, ranging between, $75,000 to $77,000 if we get up there relatively soon. And then that Fibonacci extension levels do start at about $72,000. So I'm just going to mark out, I actually believe that level is sitting at about 71,980-ish. But and this kind of gives us a big zone, right? This is kind of the difficult part here. So if we go from that fib level all the way up to about, say, 75K, you do actually have a pretty significant zone of resistance here. And let me just get rid of these purple lines and daily naked points of control because they have already tapped. And if you're wondering, Frankie, why am I going to watch a random diagonal line on the chart and just expect price to move off of it? The answer is, number one, the magic of technical analysis, and number two, these spider lines are indeed respected. Not recently, but we have had people in the past say that spider lines are just random lines on the chart. I mean, tell that to the long positions, right? And you can see, like, I'm not going to go back and backtest this a lot, but you guys can see these levels are not only interacted with, but oftentimes very respected. And then even if you turn your chart onto non-logarithmic, even the non-log spider lines also act as support and resistance. I mean, just beautiful respect, beautiful respect, beautiful respect, respect. Put some respect on his name. Mr. Spiderline here, just absolutely beautiful levels. If you did not have these marked out on your chart, guys, definitely check out the tutorial video we have. And shout out to CryptoFace for showing me about these. I don't know where he got them. Maybe he invented them. I don't know. But definitely a really, really, really big advantage to have these levels on your chart. And so really these next targets are really based off Fibonacci extension levels as well as the spider line. So maybe we wind up coming up here, get a big wick up into that spider line, and then maybe you get a swing failure pattern. It's impossible to predict the actual price action that will occur, but this is definitely going to be that next major zone of resistance. And I know we've looked at this before, so if you tune into the live streams, this will not be too shocking to you. So, major levels, if you want to just list them off real quick, psychological $70,000. And then just above that, you have your Fibonacci extension sitting at around 72K, you could call it, and then all the way upwards of about 75,000. Now, I want to be very clear, this will be different if we wind up not getting a move up that I would want, right? If we wind up getting a bigger pull back first, and we wind up bing-bonging around maybe, and then we come up at this point, that spider line is now sitting, 77K. Obviously, the fib levels will remain the same, but that spider line will come up over time. Very important to realize, right? You don't want to, that's why I recommend you watch that tutorial and mark these on your chart, because the last thing I want, shout out to Harry Potter said, we need to know, Frankie, don't fail us. Show it. Hang on. I got to check these super chats real quick, guys. But I recommend you guys draw these on your charts, because the last thing I want is for someone who may be a beginner hearing that there's a spider line at about $75,000, and then price decides to consolidate here and then get a move up when it's near 77K, and then they're looking for the rejection at 75K. So just keep that in mind. This will move over time. But those are definitely going to be, this is the next key zone of resistance I am looking at, between $75,000 and $72,000, and then also keeping in mind that psychological level of 70K. But again, I'm not putting as much weight on that just because we've already come so close. All right. So shout out to Tony D said, don't worry, guys. It'll be worth the delay. Frankie got a fresh haircut. Let's go. Shout out to Tony D. Thank you for the super chat. And Harry Potter says, show that 8-ball. Let's go. Shout out. All right. Should we do the little hair reveal? The reason I have a hat on right now, guys, is because the barbers, they just put gel in it. But I'm very particular. Guys, I'm Italian. I'm a Guido. I'm very particular about how you gel my hair. You know what I'm saying? But they don't do it exactly how I want. That's why I have the hat on. But we'll just show it. Here we go. Oh, God. Don't make fun of me, guys. Oh, there's the haircut. There is the fade, guys. Not going to lie. I finally found a barber down here in the ATL that cuts pretty good. Shout out to Francie. Not Frankie. Francie is his name. I've never, I don't know. I've never heard a name like that, but it's a pretty fire name. But anyway, there you go. Nice, fresh little fade. Took about an hour, but yeah, it's nice and freshly faded. Not a fan of how they gelled it, but that's okay. We'll just throw that hat back on, that Frankie Candles hat. But shout out to Harry Potter. That's what he was saying. Don't fail us. Show it. Show it, Frankie. Bitcoin to the. Shout out to Harry Potter. Golden, thank you for the super chat, bro. He says, show us why you were late, Frankie. We want to see it. It wasn't worth it, guys. Was it worth it, or is this the worst haircut you ever seen? Let me know. Don't judge the gel job, guys. I'm about to go in the bathroom and wash all this gel out and do it myself so I can look extra fresh for the Mafia. I'm just saying. But yeah, fade's pretty fire. Is Soulless Barber in the chat, or Havit the Barber, our view in the chat, rank the fade? Rank the fade. Is it good? It might be bad. I'm not a barber. I don't know the difference. I think it looks good. But shout out to the barbers in the chat. And if any of you guys want to move to the ATL so we could get consistently good haircuts down here, we would greatly appreciate it. But shout out to everybody for the super chats. Indeed, I did get a haircut. Imagine we just said I got a haircut, and I was just like, it was just like an excuse. Like, oh, he's late, he got a haircut, but I didn't get a haircut. That'd be wild. But anyway, let's continue on. Shout out to Nikki94. Boo says, hair looking golden. Shout out to Golden. Let's go. Military cut. Yeah, basically, on the sides for sure. I guess they do kind of keep it a little bit longer. It kind of does look like a military cut. Not gonna lie. Looking like kind of like a Forrest Gump haircut. Shout out to Medic Money. Thank you for the super chat. Said, Frankie, could you show your BTC cycle chart? I'd like to screenshot it for analysis purposes. Thanks, brother. Well, Medic Money, as long as it's for analysis purposes, don't be doing anything weird with this chart, man. Shout out to Medic Money. Yeah, I can pull up. I'll pull up the cycle chart here. And to be quite honest with you guys, let's just pull it up right now because that's basically. I'm going to look at the lower time frames for Bitcoin here, but other than that, guys, that's really the sauce on Bitcoin. Next key levels to the upside are what we just talked about. Other than that, I am still, if we get that green dot on the daily, I would expect that move to come eventually. Are we going to get a little pullback before? We'll check the lower time frames in just a second. But let me just pull up this cycle chart for our boy Medic Money. So you can take a look at it. Let me try to get it. Let me try to get it perfect for you. Bada boom. I'll even take off the volume profile for you, and there you go. Bada boom. This is all proprietary information, guys. Please don't screenshot this. That would be theft. I'm just kidding. Please screenshot it. But anyway, there you go, Medic Money. Hopefully that is. Hopefully that helps you out. Let's see. Shout out to Joseph. Said, Frankie, are you still holding your buy below? I assume you mean my long positions. Yes. I will try. I mean, maybe we should just log in now. I could show you on my phone. I'm not logged in. I was late, guys. This is I'm telling you guys, I'm not getting any haircuts anymore. Yo, guys, shout out to anybody holding Matic. The Matic long is up right now. Let me, I'll log in just a second, but there's the cycle chart for you, Medic Money. Hopefully that helps you out. And then even up here, these are not my most recent, technical levels, but just because we're on the chart, I will just share this. If you guys are looking for some bonus levels above, we do have this area right here between about 103 and 87, almost $88,000, which if we get past all the levels we just looked at, may be the next spot of resistance. Actually, I have some pretty decent confluence, in this box, right? Not only do you have a fib extension level, you also have this 1-1 Gonfan level, as well as, or you got two Fibonacci levels, as well as this Gonfan 1-1 level. If you guys don't know about that, check out the Gonfan videos on the channel and learn about them. You can see this has been a pretty interesting, pretty important part of a lot of different cycles. So there you go. But let's go ahead. I want to jump down to the lower time frames, guys, here just real quick to kind of talk about what we could expect, for the rest of the night, maybe the rest of the day, rest of the week. Just some shorter time frame stuff. And let's take a look. So for the most part, let's pull up the Bybit chart first of all. This is not what we want to look at. So for the most part, I mean, honestly, guys, it's just one of those days where it's like, Bitcoin's just doing kind of what we thought it was going to do. It's not doing anything too crazy. It's kind of a boring day, to be quite honest with you. So there you go. Local analysis, obviously local levels of resistance, $69,000 to $69,575. We just talked about in the beginning of the stream what we'd be expecting there. If we do get a local pullback, simply put, guys, I'm looking in terms of this local volume profile, right? Between 65K and about 68K. So if we get a hard rejection here, what are we going to be looking for? We would look to go down to the POC. If you lose the POC, that's where you're going to be looking down towards that value area low, where we also have some confluence, which I guess you could move this up a little bit. But you have a golden pocket, value area low, / yeah, this is going to be a level I'd be watching, right? So for the most part, and another thing I want to talk about here, guys, is I know I don't talk about patterns very often, but obviously we talked about this the other day. You do have somewhat of a bullish pennant here. I know you can draw this a million different ways, but this is somewhat of a bullish pennant, right? And they do break out to the upside more often than they break to the downside. Now, that's not a guarantee that this thing is just going to yeet up to much higher prices. I mean, to be honest with you, we've already broken out of the triangle. This is one of the reasons, right? This isn't a main reason why I would be looking for a move up, but I am adding this as confluence for me to hold my long positions to potentially revisit these highs. And we will be pulling up the liquidation heat maps, guys, in just a minute. Let me actually just pull these up right now. Because what we could do is we could try to see if there is a concentration of liquidity sitting above this wick, which would make it very likely, or not very likely, but it would make it somewhat plausible to be looking above these highs for a target. So let me just go ahead and log into High Block Capital here real quick. Shout out to the 1,039 people concurrently watching this live stream right now. Guys, I know it's annoying to just hear smash the like button, but the truth is, this is the easiest way to help out the channel for completely free. It helps spread the word of the Candle Mafia. It'll put our video into the algorithm and grow the Candle Mafia. So smash that like button. I hate saying it. It feels so shilly, but it literally is like one of the biggest things to help the channel. It's like over super chats, over any kind of money you guys can give us, you smash that like button. It helps us out insanely. You have no idea how much it helps the algorithm, and we endlessly appreciate it. So if you can just tap it, touch it with your butt, elbow it, creepily fondle it, I don't care. We don't judge here. Just do something with that like button. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look here at the heat map in just a second. But for the most part, guys, another reason to be potentially looking to the upside, obviously your key level of resistance locally is going to be $68,100, your previous value area high. Once you get above that, if you get a significant breakout, that's where you're going to be looking for the higher prices. And if we wind up, but here's the thing, right? There's kind of multiple contexts here, because we did hit the value area high. It doesn't mean that we have to go back down to the low, because if we hold this POC, you could get the bigger move up. But, at the end of the day, if you lose this POC, your key level of local resistance is definitely going to be 66,898, because we know that if you lose that level, right, is going to be much more likely to get a bigger move to the downside, where I will be looking for longs if we get the confirmations to pop up. I will be taking some fresh scalp long positions in anticipation of potentially taking those highs. So other than that, guys, like the TI on Bitcoin is basically the same it was yesterday. Levels below us are exactly the same. Value area low, golden pocket. You want to keep in mind you have your 786 sitting right here at about 63,950. But for the most part, I wouldn't be putting, you lose that 786. I'm going to be looking lower down towards the POC of the range. And this is the beauty, guys, of using the volume profiles. Because if we just hide a lot of this, internal level, a lot of these internal levels, the local fib pulls, etc., to just simplify things. I know there might be a lot of beginners watching this being like, this is super confusing. You want to look at the volume profiles. This simplifies the chart for you. You have one range right here. Bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong, right? Obviously, you swung failed here, lost the, obviously, you didn't hold it here. But you have this range right here that you're looking at, and then you have this range down below. So simply put, if you're not scalping, right, if you're not looking to take a scalp trade from here back to the high or up to higher prices, and you're just here for kind of the general price action on Bitcoin, longer term stuff, I would just be looking at this range. And then if you lose this low and get accepted back below this level here at $65,000, that is where I would be looking to eventually get a move back down into that point of control, because you are getting accepted back into your range. And we know once you get accepted back below that value area high, the next likely place for price to go, shout out to Creighton C, exactly, it is going to be that point of control. And then once you lose that POC, you look to go down to the value area low. The reason I have all those other local levels of resistance, or support rather, you might be like, well, why are you taking those levels off? If does that make them not important? Well, no. It does make them important. This one especially important. That's why it's a blue box, because it's a high likelihood we get some kind of a bounce here, because you're at the low of the range and you have the confluence with the golden pocket. But once you get below this, your last chance to bounce out of this range, in my opinion, locally, would be at the 786. So at that point, once you lose this, in my opinion, it's very likely to come down to the POC. Sure, you could get a little bounce off the golden pocket, but because your confluence with the POC is with the 786 here, because you have this confluence, I wouldn't necessarily be expecting that move to happen off the golden pocket. I would much rather get a move down to the more confluent level. Could you bounce off the golden pocket and come up? Absolutely. Likely you'll get some kind of reaction. I just think, in my personal opinion, and through my experience over time, when you have a confluent level like this, oftentimes, the golden pocket will get respected, but you will come down and test that 786, especially when you have the key level like a POC in perfect confluence. So just keep that in mind. You have to have the context, right? Like, what are you trying to do with your trading journey, right? Are you trying to scalp, right? Because honestly, if you come down here, you could look for a scalp long, ride it up to the POC, take profits, and then price could nuke back into this range, right? So these levels are for different types of traders. For a scalper, this is going to be a key level to watch. For a scalper, This is going to be a key level to watch. This is going to be a key level to watch. But someone who's, buying Bitcoin and holding it, you would just be looking in the grander scheme of things, right? Okay, so worst case scenario over the next week or so, maybe we hit 60K. So it's all just about what your trading journey requires from you, right? You don't have to be looking at all these levels. And I don't want people thinking that, just because I'm a day trader and everybody wants to be a day trader for some reason, that you have to do that, right? This analysis is applicable to not only the low time frames, not only the 5-minute, the 15-minute, the 10-minute. It's also applicable on the weekly time frame. All these techniques are all usable on the longer time frames. You just take these techniques, go up to the weekly, and use the exact same thing, right? And that's what we do on the show every single day. Now, I do want to bring up the liquidation heat maps, guys. Take a look at where that liquidity is sitting. I'm going to come on down to the 1 month. I know Golden loves these heat maps, brother. I'm about to start just sending him screenshots of the heat maps every single day. Shout out to Ziva Crypto Girl. What is going on? Thank you for being here. Anonymous said, can you say the actual values of the levels? I think I did. But I will just run over that I'll run over it in a second again for you, brother. No worries at all. But let me go ahead and zoom in here. So not really any kind of, we do have a little, block of highlighted bars here, a little chunk of liquidity sitting here, but it's nothing really that aggressive. It is definitely sitting up here. But if you look here, when you're looking at a heat map, like this is significant liquidity. This is significant liquidity. This is significant liquidity, right? This is very significant. This is the most significant liquidity on the chart, sitting at about 50K. So if we did get a move back down to 50K, this would be likely, the closer we get, this would start to act as a magnet. Obviously, $50,000, it's a psychological level. Doesn't surprise me that a lot of people are in at 50K with their stop losses below or liquidation levels below. But really what I would want to see here, to be quite honest with you, there's actually more. There's more liquidation levels sitting up here at about 74K. So is that confluent with one of our resistance levels that we were just looking at? I think it was, right? So, and again, I do want to point out, like, this is not that significant, right? If we saw bars like this or bars like this, sitting up there, it would make it much more of an attractive level. But in my own personal opinion, the areas of interest here on the heat map are going to be, like right here at about 70K. And then, more importantly or more significantly up here at about $74,100. And like, even if what are we on here? This is the 1 month. Let's pull up the 7-day. It'll be a little bit more pronounced here on the 7-day because it's a lower time frame. So yeah, this is probably a better, in my opinion, place to look locally. So yeah, same thing. You just see it a little bit better here. About 68.9, almost 70K even. You do have a bit of liquidity. I will say the majority of the liquidity is sitting below. So the question to me here is, are we going to want to wick up and take out the shorts first, or do you want to take one more dump down and then take out the longs before actually getting a bigger move up? There really is no way to tell. There's a lot of people who would say, well, the price has to go where there's more liquidity. And in my experience, that is not the case at all. Just because there's more liquidity down here does not guarantee price will come down before it goes up. But these are definitely going to be the significant levels. So I would say between 70,000 and the top of this wick sitting at about the all-time high at 69,500, say, give or take a couple bucks. That's the next local area of significant liquidity. And again, a reason why we will be looking for a potential rejection at that level. And you might be thinking to yourself, Frankie, why would you get a rejection just because there's liquidity up there? And the answer is because oftentimes price will come up, stop out those shorts, and then a lot of times that does fill a larger limit order set by a bank or institution to a short order, right, to get a bigger move to the downside. And then everybody who's FOMO long on the way up, everyone's saying, oh my God, we're breaking the all-time high. Oh my God, this is exactly what we saw happen here, guys. And we showed this when it actually happened. Let me come up on the EXO charts here and pull up the 30-minute time frame. I really want to talk about this because this is why the market moves, right? Like it's not patterns, but price does not move because there's a pattern on the chart. I always say patterns are more of a way to describe price action, right? It doesn't mean you can't trade them at all. It's obviously people out there that successfully trade them. But when you get everybody on this move up as you break the high, people are thinking, oh my God, we're breaking the all-time high. We're going into price discovery, long, 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 long. And when you get all those people longing the top, their stop losses and liquidation levels are left behind. So what does that do? That gives you a pocket of liquidity below. So if you do come up, let me explain this, right? Like this is stuff a lot of people will charge for, right? But I don't care about that. I would rather have you guys make money. So if you have the liquidity sitting up here, we know that not only will this act as a magnet, but if price comes up, we may get that liquidation of the shorts, adding extra buy pressure to the market, because when you get stopped out of a short, it is a market buy, right? So that adds buy pressure, gives you that big wick up, which could push you into a large bank's short limit order, which would push price back down, and then everybody who FOMO'd long at the top, their stop losses and liquidation levels are where? Likely below the previous below this level of resistance, right? So what does that do? Now you have a bunch of liquidity down here. So oftentimes this is why you see swing failure patterns, because you see all the shorts get wrecked, and then that large limit order gets filled, starts pushing price down, and you start wrecking all the longs, which adds, by the way, stop losses on long positions are market sells. So as those longs get stopped out, that's why you see that big dump to the downside, because as those liquidation levels or stop losses get hit, it creates a bunch of sell pressure into the market, giving you these fat dumps to the downside. So there you go. Hopefully that was able to be, hopefully that makes sense to at least some of you guys. But that's basically why I look at the heat maps, right? I try to anticipate where that liquidity is sitting. So there you go. Let's see. Yeah, and guess who's buying back all those coins? BlackRock. Shout out to Mr. Wickles. What a dude. Yo, the names just get better and better. Mr. Wickles is fire. But anyway, let's continue on here. That's basically what I'd be looking at. Now you guys have the key levels, as well as kind of like the way I am looking at the market as far as like the theory of why I'm expecting these things to happen. Doesn't mean they're going to happen, right? We've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. We have been doing real well lately. But when Lambo, shout out to Frey Geist, says when Lambo, let's go. Lambo soon. Let's go. I like dumps. Harry Potter, me too. Golden says maybe. Let's go. Shout out to Golden. Golden also said smash that like button, guys. Don't forget. But anyway, and don't forget, guys, we will be giving away 0.02 Bitcoin because we hit 1,000 likes on one of our last streams. And we will be giving away 0.02 Bitcoin. Tony D, if I don't know if he's listening right now. He's actually doing something important. But Tony D, if you are hearing this at all, let's talk about getting that all set up. So we will release instructions on how to enter to win that 0.02 Bitcoin very shortly. If Tony doesn't drop anything in tonight, we will let you guys know tomorrow. So there you go, guys. That is what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. Jordy says, I love doing really low leverage longs on breakouts like that. Then I use options to milk the whole ride down, building position in the long. Then boom, magic. Shout out to Jordy. Let's go. Out there crushing it. Darren does things. What is going on, bro? He said, yeah, Billy, BlackRock scooped 12K BTC on the drop from 69 to 60. Yeah, guys, don't get fooled. When you see Bitcoin go down, I'm not even lying, guys. Like, if something like what happened in March of 2020 happens again, just remember what happened after March of 2020, right? Everybody, like, this was brutal. Like, everyone was like, oh, my God, the bull run's back on. Oh, man. And then it nuked. And then the best time to buy was on that giant dump to the downside. When everybody thought everything was going to garbage and everyone was super scared, if you were buying that wick, you would have literally been in an amazing position for that next bull run. So I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but if we did see something scary happen, I just may be jaded. Or not jaded. I might be, I might just be so biased. I've been in crypto for so long, and I've just seen this thing dump so hard so many times and then just go back up 10 times. There's not a dump in history that would not make me want to buy the dump, right? It's like, I mean, if we got, oh, my God, something really bad happened in the world, absolute mega dump, I would just be buying, to be honest. And maybe this is the last time, and it's like it never goes back up again. But just remember that, guys. Like, this was a very scary time, right? And especially after this gigantic rally of about 350%. So just remember that. But that's what we're looking at on Bitcoin, guys. For the most part, those are the key levels and what I'm expecting to happen. I am still holding all of my long positions. Let me go ahead and log into Phemex real quick and show some of the trades. I should log into. I'm going to pull up my face camera real quick because I don't know what is about to pop up here. So let me just log in real quick, guys, and then we will show those trades right now. Let me pull up BingX as well because we are in a long on BingX. I'm actually also in a Phantom. Shout out to Tony D. Guys, I may or may not have opened up BingX last night to check my long position and then noticed another position open. It was in the green. And I'm like, what is this trade? Didn't even know it was open. Be careful, guys. If you start trading too much, sometimes you lose track of things. Thank God it was in the green. But yeah, literally finding phantom trades here. But anyway, let's pull up Femex real quick. So all the trades I am holding right now. Still holding my long from, what is the entry on this? So holding a long from 61.572. Also holding the long from 62.456. These both have profits locked in. And then, both, this one's got 1,100, almost 1,200 in unrealized. And then still got a little bit unrealized on this one as well. And then the Dogecoin short, still alive, guys. Took most of the profits. This thing is still running. Stop loss at break even. I'm just letting this $382 ride. If it dumps again, I'm going to take more profit. If not, I'll get stopped out and make 2K. Not too big of a deal. And then this Matic trade was just up over $10,000 unrealized. Obviously, we still got a few grand locked in profit. But this one is just continuing to play out. We will be taking a look at Matic. Oh, you guys can't see anything. My bad. My fault. Wait, can you guys see that? I don't think you can. There we go. I'm not lying, guys. They're here. They're like, oh, my God, he's not actually in the trades anymore. Unbelievable. No. So here you go, right? Long from 62.5, long from 61. There you go. Now you can actually see the entries. 61.572, 62.456, and then the Dogecoin short, and then the Matic long as well. So pretty nice. Profits locked in. If we got wrecked on all these, we would win them. Don't have stop losses on these three, but we watch them very closely. So there you go. If you guys want to sign up for Femex and save on your fees or even get some bonus trading funds, you can check the links in the description down below, and that gives you guys something to do maybe if you want to trade, and it will help out the channel. Obviously, if you don't want to help out the channel, feel free to go to Femex. I still recommend them as an exchange. I don't just use them because they're an affiliate, but I actually do love their exchange. Highly recommend it. But let's check out, as well as BingX, which is why I'm about to pull it up. Let me go ahead and log in here. Yeah, shout out to BG. It's actually funny. Yes, 100%. I will do that right now, actually, because it should be like that. If you guys ever see me pull up Femex or something, I feel like a lot of people probably don't even know where to see it. But if you guys ever see me pull up trades and there's no stop losses on any of them, right? Some of them do have. This one's in this one stop loss at break even. Profit's already locked in, like 75%. This is 75% out of the trade, right? But if you ever see that I don't have a stop loss set on things, guys, please understand I do this full time. This is my whole job, right? Not only YouTube, not only, teaching this stuff, but also trading. So I am, in this 24/7. It's very rare. Once in a while, I will get, will bite me in the butt when I'm walked away from my charts. But one thing to realize is I am watching these charts 99% of the time. 2 o'clock in the morning, sitting at the charts. 12 p.m., usually sitting at the charts. If something goes bad, I am very well prepared to jump out of these. And anytime I do leave, I do take put the stop losses on. So please understand that. You'll probably see some of them pop up, and then the next day it'll be gone. It's probably because I was just sitting at my desk. And if we start getting close to it, if I'm monitoring it, I will remove the stop loss if I am doing active analysis. I'm not taking the stop loss off because I'm randomly gambling that it goes higher or lower. There's a reason behind everything I do, so just keep that in mind. I don't want anyone being like, oh, he has no stop losses. I won't use a stop loss. You have to use a stop loss or you lose all your money. That's just obviously exaggerating a little bit. But please use a stop loss, guys. And I was talking to, Tony D about this before. Guys, this game is so much more about limiting your loss than it is about going for the grand slams. It is literally the biggest thing that changed for me was, number one, actually paying yourself when you're in the green. How many times have you've been in the green and you don't pay yourself and then it just goes into the red? I went through a huge point of time in my trading career where, let me explain something. At least for me, everyone's journey is going to be a little bit different, right? Or a lot different maybe. But here, let me just go ahead and pull this up. This is the phantom trade, guys. I actually have to double check. I think this was actually a setup in the Discord. I actually have to go check the Discord to see if that setup was in there. Because if it's not, this was literally a random limit order that got filled and just played out, luckily. But I don't think... I think this was a setup in the Discord. Me and Tony were trying to reverse engineer where this long came from. But hey, we're up 43%. What is the entry price? Yeah, actually, I think Tony D told me that. Yeah, I got to go look at the setups. I'm pretty sure this was a setup in the Discord. However, if we come over to the standard futures here, the real long that I'm looking, or the real long that we got here, is from much lower at about $40,000. Again, going to continue to hold this up about $9,100. So the trades are up pretty big. And again, I want you guys to take one thing away. Look at least on here, I have not taken profits on this, I don't believe just yet, but look at Femex, guys. Every single trade has either multiple $1,000s taken in profit or close to $1,000 in profit, a few $100s in profit at least. Notice these are all locked in. You have to pay yourself. I'm not holding this whole position hoping to make $100,000, right? The reason I'm holding this trade is not because, oh my God, it's at 9,900. I want to hit 10 grand. The chart does not care that I want my trade to hit 10 grand. This is how people get wrecked. Oh, wait, but 9,930 is my favorite number. The chart doesn't care what your favorite number is. The reason I am holding this trade is because of technical factors on the chart based off real analysis. And again, even though I am seeing that in the charts that I think this will go higher, I have still paid myself out because you have to limit your risk. Anything can happen in this market. So understand, if you're not paying yourself, you will not make money over time. And if you're not limiting your risk, you are definitely not going to make money over time. And I do want to just say this, guys. In my trading journey, like I said, everyone's is going to be a little bit different. For me, I went through a phase where I was bad at the TA, right? And I would just get into a trade, and it would go the wrong way because I didn't understand how to do the analysis. Then I got to a point where the analysis was on point. Honestly, didn't take me that long to get there. I think technical analysis just clicks with my brain for some reason. I'm a very visual person, so I think looking at charts just really clicks in my brain. And when I figured that out, this is when the really frustrating part of my journey started, and that's when I would always be right about the trade, and I would still never make money. I would enter the trade. I'd say Bitcoin's going to go up right now. It's coming down to a key pocket. There's a golden pocket, 7, 8, whatever. Right? I'd get into the position, and it would hit right away. Oh, my God, I was right. I knew it. Oh, my God, TA is magic. It actually works. And then I would just hold the trade and hold the trade and hold the trade, and I'd be like, oh, back in the day, I didn't have a lot of money to work with, right? I'd be like, oh, man, I'm only up $88. I want to make at least $100. And then it would go into the red, and I would lose money. And then I would go into another trade, and it would go the way I thought it was going to go. And it would be in the green, and I'd be like, nah, it's not enough money. And I would hold it into the red. And because I didn't want to take a small loss. I either wanted to make a ton or get wrecked. And this is why I wasn't successful in the beginning of my journey. This is why 99% of people are not successful. The real game changer, obviously, I got way better at analysis over time. I mean, I spend literally my, every waking hour doing this for a very long time. So that obviously helps. But one of the bigger, honestly, the much more important thing in my opinion was the fact that I just started cutting the losses, started cutting the losses way earlier and actually paying myself and not waiting for that gigantic trade. I was not going to make $10,000 on one trade when I was only risking $50 or however much it was, right? So understand that, put it this way. The last 3 times I got stopped out, guys, the last 3 trades that I lost, I lose trades. Absolutely. I shared it with the premium Discord. But the last 3 trades I lost, I think I lost $150, $250, and then $9, right? Look at my profits locked in. This trade alone, the smallest trade that I have profits locked in on, not even paying attention to the fact that I have $1,182 in unrealized profit that I could take off the table at any time, at least right now, maybe not later. But the smallest trade here covers all those losses plus profit. And I don't do this to brag or show, what a cushy position. I show this because this is why most traders fail. It's because they're not doing this. And when you have a small account, it's a lot harder to take $70 off the table and lock it in because it's not life-changing, right? But the problem is you're not going to change your life if you're only risking small amounts of money. So you have to get the analysis right, get the risk management correct, and then you build the confidence to put a larger sum of money so you can eventually make those life-changing gains, right? Or the life-changing money. And once you figure it out, guys, it is the most rewarding thing ever. And you don't need a ton of money, right? These are a lot of these were $40,000 positions, only risking a couple thousand or a few thousand, right? So just keep that in mind. I have $757 in this trade. I'm using 10x leverage, so I am up $675. And if Bitcoin pumps, is going to be up way more. And I've already locked in $1,000. I only have $750 of my own money in this trade. So keep that in mind. But you have to take profits. This is the most important thing about trading. Literally the most important. This is more important than reading the charts. And I like to think that's the most important thing, but it's not. It's really the risk management. But anyway, let's continue on, guys. Let's go. I'm sorry that was a little bit of a rant, but this is important stuff. I literally was talking not only to Tony D, I was talking to Mrs. Campbell's about this last night. This is what 99% of people get wrong. This is why 99% of day traders fail. It's because they do not know how to manage the risk. So keep that in mind. And with all that being said, drop those altcoins in the chat. Shout out to Randy Hipper in the chat. What is going on? Thank you for stopping by, Randy. Welcome in. Show Randy some love. Randy, what are you thinking about this price action? Are you excited? Absolutely ripping. Gotta love it. Solana. Okay, I see it. Okay, shout out to Self-Wealth Crypto said, so do I close my long and take the loss or wait for my recovery? My liquidation level is at 0.7899. Okay, so Self-Wealth, great question, first of all. And I will start off on ETH here, guys, as you guys continue to drop those alts. Rob the Crypto Snob. Yo, shout out to Golden. Said, preach, Frankie. Shout out to Golden. I appreciate that super chat. And yes, and I know Golden probably, you probably went through this as well at some point, right? You realize that you can't get wrecked if you limit the ability to get wrecked. And Self-Wealth Crypto, I'll give you the sauce right now, brother. If you're asking so I'm going to help prevent you from being in this situation, because the situation you're in right now where you may get liquidated. Now, obviously, this is going to depend on how much money you're using. Maybe you put an amount of money that you were just willing to gamble at all. I don't know. So that would vary a little bit. But if you're talking about potentially getting liquidated, that's the mistake. You should never be at risk of liquidation, ever. If you want to be a profitable and consistent trader, you should never be at risk. I am never at risk of getting liquidated. And if I get liquidated, it's either because my order got canceled for some reason, my stop loss didn't get hit for some reason, or didn't trigger for some reason, or I irresponsibly got greedy or nervous, or I messed up mentally, right, or emotionally. It's all on me. So the answer really is to whatever happens with this Doge trade, and it's okay if you mess this trade up, Self-Wealth, if it doesn't come back, say, it's okay. Don't let it hurt your just take it on the chin. But moving forward, put yourself in a situation where next time the trade goes against you, you just take a small loss. Losing a trade is not a bad thing unless you lose all your trades. Losing your trades is a part of doing business. You have to lose trades. I just mentioned my last 3 trades that I lost, which were in the past 2 weeks. I lost 3 trades, but I was never, ever even slightly worried about getting liquidated, because I knew if I woke up and that trade was gone, I knew I got stopped out at break even. Technically, I lost $9. But keep that in mind, right? So the real answer to your question is make sure you're never in a situation where you're going to get liquidated, unless you're saying I'm going to put, however much money you're willing to risk and you want to gamble on it and you're just going to try to hold it for $1 million. Just understand that's gambling. But if I were you, we'll do some Doge analysis, and I'll try to give you an idea where I think it's going, and you can do your own analysis and figure out what you got to do with the trade. But the simple answer is make sure you're not in a position to ever get liquidated, and that's possible, right? It's much, and I want to be clear, it's much easier said than done. It's super simple, as in just put a stop loss. But it's much harder when you're watching your trade and you think it's going to go up and it's about to hit your stop loss. It's pretty easy to be like, nah, I think it'll bounce, and then you get rid of the stop loss. I've done it too. The reason I know all this is because I've messed up everything, guys, 100 times. And I'll tell you this. Watching my trades go into the green and then back into the red and getting wrecked, that was the longest and hardest thing that I could not get over. I stayed in that phase for a very, very long time, just getting wrecked, knowing what I was doing wrong. I should set a stop loss. I'm going to get wrecked again, wrecked. Next trade, same thing. It's discipline, and it's you're fighting the human condition. You're fighting your brain. It's the hardest thing to defeat. But just so you know, like if you're trading with $100, if you put $100, let's just say on 1x leverage, right? Like let's just take the leverage out of it. If you put $100 on a trade and you are up $50, that is 50% on your money. $50 is not a life-changing amount of money, but if you're only trading with $100, you have to accept that as an amazing gain on $100. People expect 8% in the stock market every year, and you just made 50% on your money in likely a very short period of time. So keep that in mind. Don't go for the life-changing gains. You're not going to get rich day trading overnight. It's like I shouldn't even say that, right? Or according, it would benefit me greatly to tell everybody watching this right now that you're going to get rich overnight with day trading, but I would be lying and it would be wrong and I would not be able to sleep at night. It is not a get rich quick scheme. It is a get rich slow game. But the thing is, if you stick it out, you can do this wherever and whenever you want because you don't even need the price to go up. Bull market, bear market. Understand this. A lot of people will be like, everybody's a genius in a bull market. Well, not only did we short Doge, we were in a Bitcoin short yesterday. Right now, up over $2,400 on a Doge short. It has nothing to do with a bull market. We make money. All we need is price to move. That's all. So there you go. Putting in the real fundamental lessons today. This is the important stuff. I know it's not the sexy stuff. I would probably be the biggest channel in the world if I just came up here and said what everybody wanted to hear. And some people do that. Just not my thing. It's too disingenuous. I couldn't sleep at night. And I really, like, the real thing I like to see, guys, is the chats being like, oh, my God, Frankie. Like, tomorrow or the next day, a week from now, someone's going to come in chat, or at least this has happened a million times. They're going to say, Frankie, your talk about the other day about setting stop losses and managing risk being more important than the TA, man. You just made it click for me, man, and now I'm starting to win more trades. And that's why I do this. This is why I love to do this. So there you go. Anyway, let's take a look at Ethereum or Erythrium, as your grandmother might call it. And let's see. All right, so pulling up the daily time frame. Excuse me. Obviously, we have these two key levels. Just to give some context here, we are, bada boom. We fill the whole range, right? Obviously, we look at this every day from the low to the POC, right up to the value area high, as you would expect. Shout out to the Ethereum video that we dropped a few months ago. That's why you got to be subscribed to the channel, guys, and turn on notification bell, because if you were here for that video a couple months ago, literally did exactly what we wanted. We're not always right, but oftentimes we are, and there are a few altcoins that we may make videos on that are set up very similar to this right now. Are we going to see them play out the same? Potentially. But anyway, next key level of resistance was that value area high. We have broken not only above the high, but also above that macro golden pocket, right? This is structurally, right, and like visually the level that Bitcoin rejected from during the ETF approval. And then, obviously Ethereum was lagging behind. And man, I might do a video reviewing that ETH video because that video did not get a lot of attention. But what we talked about in that video was so much sauce on what we were expecting to happen, not only on ETH, but you can apply this to any coin. I may review that video and go over the techniques that we used so you guys can then predict your next altcoin, potentially big, the next potential big move on your next altcoin that you want to look at. But we got above that golden pocket. We got above that value area high. And then that next level we were looking at yesterday on the live stream, guys, simply put, was that 786 sitting at about $4,000, $4,013. And then, Ethereum kind of just creeping up to it. Our high here was at about 39.40. So just barely made it to that 786. But this is the next key level to the upside. Not only, did we have this weekly naked point of control acting as a magnet, but you also would expect you go to a golden pocket retracement. Once you break above that, the next stop is going to be the 786. So that is why this is still technically a level to be watching. So I'm going to move our purple box all the way over here. And there we go. Frankie Candle's bat phone is ringing right now, but I do not know who it is. But anyway, that's going to be the next target, right? Now, this, although it is the next target, it is also the we could look for rejection here, right? This is significant resistance because, anytime we look at anything here, guys, like if you were looking for a move up, a move down, oftentimes we look for those higher lows or lower highs, depending on what we're looking at. We look at those Fibonacci retracements to see where those levels are going to come in. And you can see here, price came up, came back down, didn't respect the golden pocket, but it did reverse off the 786. This works the same way with resistance. If you pull from this high to this low, I don't know if this is going to line up, but it does, right? You get a move down, right? And then you come back up to the golden pocket. Actually, this is kind of a bad scenario, bad example. This is actually the first example was much better. But you guys know, right? Like when you're looking for the rejections, whether it's resistance or support, you're looking for the 786 or the golden pocket to give you the bounce. And if the golden pocket doesn't give it to you, the 786 likely will. We could potentially expect a reversal here, right, or a potential rejection. So I will be looking at this, potential scalp shorts on Ethereum at that 786. But with that being said, not only is it key resistance, but it will also be the area that invalidates once you wind up getting above this and flipping this to support, that invalidates, in my opinion, any short trade that I would be in up here. Right? Once you break that 786, it invalidates the rejection, and you would be looking higher to our next key level at 4602. And then I don't think, we don't have any other targets on this chart. So there you go. Locally, that's what I'd be looking at on Ethereum. Break that 786, look up towards that weekly naked point of control at 4602. Now looking at market cipher, green dot confirmed on the daily, 16-hour red dot. I mean, kind of bing-bonging around here. I don't want to give too many mixed signals here. Honestly, market cipher, a little bit, let's see, 12-hour red dot printing. Technically, you have the bear div here. The fact that we are breaking this weekly naked point of control does make me think that maybe we respect this. But red dot, I mean, you do have your divergence, right? Technically, you do have to be careful here just because not only is this key resistance, but also the 786 would be. So, could you look at this as a potential sign of weakness? Maybe. I wouldn't say a sign of weakness, but, maybe it gives you a little bit of a pullback. If you do get a pullback at any point here, well, let's see, 12-hour red dot. Let's check the 45-minute money flow. So here's the deal. In the next, this confirms in 2 minutes. Never mind. Signal's not there. I was going to say 12-hour red dot with the 45-minute money flow crossing over into the red would be a signal for more downside, but it's just not lining up. So for the most part, I would be careful of some kind of pullback potentially coming here. Nothing drastic. I would still be expecting that 786 to get hit. Even remember, guys, even if we rejected this level, it's not often that you'll front run a 786 by that much, right? You will front run 786s, but not by that much, in my opinion. So even if we come down a little bit, I would still be looking at that 786 as a key target. So if we do wind up getting a move down, obviously you can look down towards your previous value area high. Sitting right here, this is going to be key support, sitting at 34.95, almost $3,500. Do we have the confluence with the golden pocket? We do. This is actually really nice looking. So if you do get that move down, I would be looking at this as key support. And then your 786 just below could give you some backup. However, with that 786, just like we talked about above on the 786 that we were just looking at, here's the thing. Not only would this be a potential area to look for a bounce, but this also acts as invalidation for more upside, because if we wind up coming down here and we don't hold that 786, that's where I'd expect a bigger move to the downside. And I know our POC is super low down here at $2,300, but I wouldn't just necessarily be looking to come back down there. You have plenty of local levels within here, but we're pretty far away, so I'll stick with these local levels. Key level of resistance above, going to be the 786 at about $4,000. Key level of support, weekly naked point of control, most locally at $3,800. If you break that, coming down to the value area high at about $34.95. So there you go. Shout out to Jordy. Thank you for that super chat, bro. I appreciate you. He says 1K turns into 58K if you hit 50% gains 10 times in a row. Limit your losses. The 50% doesn't need to come all at once. Limit losses, go for 50%, then reset. Shout out to Jordy. This is sound. I like this. This is the truth, right? You don't need to make it overnight. You don't need a 500% gain. And remember this too. Your percent gain is going to depend on your leverage, right? If you're using super high leverage, you could be up thousands of percent. When you see somebody in a leverage trade that's up thousands of percent, surely, absolutely fire trade, obviously, but it doesn't mean that they longed the absolute bottom, right? You could get a tiny little move. I don't know why the chart is not loading here, but you can get a tiny little move like this and be up thousands of percent. This is why I love trading, and this is why I love leverage trading, because I know a lot of people look at it as gambling. Obviously, if you manage the risk, it's not. And Jordy, shout out to Jordy, could be, and a lot of the Mafia members can be testaments to leverage trading not being gambling, right? You could easily turn it into gambling, but if you're not limiting your risk, it is gambling. If you limit your risk, this is a somewhat predictable and recreatable income stream, right? So, just take that for what it's worth, right? But the reason I like this, guys, is because a lot of people say, now, obviously, this is up 483%, but, all of these trades are lower percentage-wise because I have already taken profits. I believe most of these trades were up over 100%. Like this Matic trade's up 444%, right? Or I'm sorry, 483%. People always say, I got to catch the next meme coin. We don't need meme coins, right? I don't need meme coins. I don't need, I'm not saying I don't buy meme coins. Shout out to COQ or Coke. I don't want to say the actual one out loud, actual name out loud. But, we get multiple X's on our leverage trades, right? You don't need to catch the next meme coin. For me, this is what, people do that, and I do that as well. But for the most part, it's like, we were catching 5X's, 10X's, 2X's in the bear market by just knowing when price moves and using and flipping our money in the same way you would with a meme coin, but just doing it on anything at any point, whether it's going up or down, even if it's only going up and down a little bit, because you could just crank the leverage or just put more money on the line and make a ton of money without actually needing the asset to physically 2X in price or market cap. So there you go. It really is like that was one of the things that really excited me about when I first started trading and using leverage was like, forget getting I get 10X my money without needing an asset to 10X in actual price. It's very, very, very lucrative. But please manage your risk or you are indeed gambling. Shout out to Cuz I Can Bump It, or as I like to call him, Koozie Can. Shout out to you, bro. Bada boom. Yo, shout out to V-Sun. Says, when Frankie says but, I feel like I just got slapped in the face. But, yeah, I got a strong B. Okay, so let's continue on here. Let's, shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. I can hear him saying pin my next cut. There it is. Let's go. Shout out to Rob the GOAT. Let's go. Okay, so let's take a look at Algorand. If you guys remember, we looked at Algorand last night, looking for a potential move to the upside in the long term. And we did get it, right? We didn't get the full move that we were looking for, but we are starting to get a move up here. Now, the context of what we were looking at here on Algorand, guys, was, let me go ahead and clear the drawings and draw it fresh. The idea here, or the thought, was that we had this head and shoulders, right? Which I guess, which is starting to break out now. But not only that, we also have our, you can call it bear market range, right? Where you kind of come in, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong. And now we are breaking out of that range. Now, this is obviously a little bit of a messy range, to be quite honest with you. But nonetheless, it is a range, right? So you kind of bing, bong. Now we're breaking out. But really what we were looking at on Algorand yesterday was this head and shoulders with that neckline coming through like this. We took that technical target from the neckline to the low, and then we extrapolated that level to the upside, or dragged it to the breakout area, and we're trying to see if it lined up with the value area low of the bull market range, which is very similar to how we predicted the move on Ethereum, the move on Solana, right? Many of the things we predicted, we were using this exact same technique. So this measured move does bring us somewhat close to the major target, right? As you guys know, hang on. Was it Algorand, or is this just in the same exact setup? We'll find out right now. Was it H-bar we were looking at? No, it must have not been. Where is that? I could just do it on this chart. But oh, here it is. Okay, so this is the chart we were looking at yesterday. And obviously, depending on where you draw this range, and even depending on what exchange you're looking at, guys, these value area levels will change, right? So this is basically the same range I'm looking at on the other chart, but the levels are slightly different because we're looking at a different exchange. But it still tracks, right? If you get the breakout of this head and shoulders, you will be looking for a technical target of about 92 cents for Algorand, bringing it to the POC of that macro bull market range. Now, again, I know I show this every day, but this is how we predicted a lot of this stuff, right? And it plays out, right? Even Dogecoin, right? I know I cover this a lot, but the reason I do it is because it works. And you guys can literally take this information, bring it to the charts, and make money using these techniques today. Right after the live stream. I'm not saying you'll get paid tonight, but you can apply this right now. So same thing. You have bear market range, breakout. You didn't really have a head and shoulders, but Algorand is kind of like left shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? And then you get the breakout. If I were to kind of wonk this out a little bit, let me see. I doubt this will work. This is very speculative. This is not legitimate TA, guys. I just want to see what happens here. It's not a head and shoulders, but like I said, guys, like trading patterns are not necessarily like end all be all, right? Like it doesn't move because it's in a pattern, but the technical breakout of this like wonked out, 3 left shoulder having head and shoulders, that technical target brought you very close to that value area low. Where did the breakout happen? Right here. Where'd it go? Right to that key level. So very, very similar to what we're looking at here on Algorand with the not only the head and shoulders, but the previous value area. Sheeb, same thing, right? Same exact thing. Break out of the range. And again, you didn't have the head and shoulders, but where did it break out to? Right into that bear market range. Value area low, POC, value area high. Stuff hits. So that could be what we're looking at long term for Algorand. Money flow looks absolutely, baby, I just got a little too excited there. This money flow looked good. I like that money flow on the weekly. Definitely good for the long term. But let's talk about a little bit about the shorter term, right? So is Algorand going to be like one of the next ones to go? Potentially, right? No guarantees. But let's take a look at some of the local price action here, right? So really, I mean, let's pull a fib, a macro fib from this. Let's pull it from this swing all the way to the bear market bottom right about here. And I mean, yeah, I mean, it would be worth it to watch these additional levels because actually, let me see what kind of confluence we get up here. Yeah. So potentially, I mean, this is kind of a big zone. I mean, yeah, I would watch this golden pocket sitting between about 53.97 and 51.71. Bada boom, we'll turn this purple. And then your value area low 786, pretty nice confluence. So these are next major levels to the upside, in my opinion. So if you get that big breakout like Dogecoin did, again, Dogecoin visited its previous value area low. This will be the eventual target, and especially because you have the confluence with your 786 here. And I mean, definitely going to be levels you want to watch. Now, local, right? That's not really super local. Let me just give you guys some more, super low, not super low time frame, but more local levels than that, right? So I would definitely be looking at this range. Bada boom. Actually, what is this looking like? Let me see. Boom, right to the PO. Okay, so I would actually take this range. What happened? Come on. Bada boom, bada bing. Okay, so I will take this. This is just a little bit of a bigger range. I don't want to give like a bunch of micro levels here. So if we take a look, whoops. Come on. Okay. Go away. Why is TradingView trolling me right now? Unbelievable. Okay, so bada boom. You got your POC. You got your value area low, which that POC is what we tested. I could almost guarantee you got a nice golden pocket retracement in confluence with that level as well. We could put it to the test. Let's see. Bada boom. All right, 786 test. I mean, if we pull to the bottom, that's probably the golden pocket. See, bada boom. Look at that. Absolutely perfect. So these are very key levels, guys. Let me relabel this to value area high, change this to POC, and then change this to value area low. So these are the key levels on Algorand for me, right? Not for you, for me. This is not financial advice. But you have really nice confluence with your golden pocket POC. You also have beautiful confluence with your value area low, 786. So obviously, we did get that big move down, bounce off the golden pocket. And, could we never see these levels again? Maybe. I don't know. But if we get another bigger move down, you're going to want to look at that value area high as key support once you get sucked back into here. I would honestly, although you are likely to get turbulence on that POC, I would really be expecting that value area low to come in because not only is it the value area low, and not only would you expect to revisit the value area low based off the volume profile and understanding once you get stuck below the high, it's much more likely to get sucked towards the POC and the value area low, but you also have your 786 Fibonacci retracement level sitting there as well, right? So you've already tested the golden pocket. If you lose the golden pocket, the next key level is that 786. So many levels or many reasons to be looking for a bounce at that key value area low. So there you go. And then, hyper locally, you could look at this volume profile, which would give you a nice little zone, much closer to your recent price action. Go ahead, value area high, POC, value area low, bada boom, right? And then you pull your fib, pull your fib from the low to the high, no confluence. Let's pull a local. I would watch this as key. Longs, sure, golden pocket value area high. This could technically be a level as well. So, I don't want to give a million different levels here, but if you do come down, 2 key local levels to look at. So this is what I would be watching. If I were trading H-bar or invested in H-bar, I would potentially be looking to buy the dip scenario down here. If you come down into these local levels and start getting bullish confirmations, I may look for a scalp long. So there you go. 4-hour red dot about to print. Pretty massive bearish divergence. Woo-hoo! Oh, baby. We about to short algo live on stream. Mafia, should we do it? I'm kidding. This is not why you don't trade, for fun, guys. It's all business. But red dot about to print on the 4-hour. Let me check that 15-minute money flow. Oh, yeah, look at that. See, this is why trading is difficult, guys. Like, for me, in my opinion, right, this 4-hour bear div, higher highs, lower highs, you could call for a pullback here, right? Even just based off the 4-hour red dot. But then you come down to the 15-minute, and look how fat your money flow is, right? So your money flow's really got to start tanking here on the 15-minute, which low-key it kind of is. But I would wait for that 4-hour red dot to print and then look for this 15-minute money flow to cross over into the red, and then that's where I'd be looking for the short. Not financial advice, obviously. All right, there we go, guys. That is what we're looking at on Algorand. Let's go ahead and continue on to Atom. Another coin we were looking at the other day, looking for a potential late breakout there. And here we are. Let me actually pull up the Coinbase chart. This is the chart we looked yesterday. And kind of in the same situation, guys. I mean, is this a head and shoulders? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder? Maybe. Is it left shoulder, right head, right shoulder? Maybe. We could try to draw this out. Let's grab that head and shoulders tool. Bada boom. Yeah, you could look at this 2 different ways. Like, maybe that's your left shoulder. Again, like I said, guys, I am not the biggest pattern guys. It's something I pay the least attention to. Again, not because they don't work, not because you can't trade them or anything like that, just because it's something I don't really necessarily look at. And then this, yeah, I don't know how you would. It's kind of wonked. Maybe. Well, let's see. I'll just find the measure and move for you. So if it's, yeah, it's definitely not left shoulder. It would be like left head, right neckline. Pretty wonked. I can almost guarantee you, though, if this lines up with a key level, it's not going to be an accident. Let's pull it to here. Bada boom. I don't know. It's definitely a wonked out head and shoulders. But, hey, you are breaking out. Leave this range. Next likely stop for Atom, in my opinion, is going to be that value area low, which is a 38% pump from where we are right now. So, yeah, that's really the next key level I would look at. And then once you wind up breaking above that level and you're able to get a if I can't grab this trend line, guys, or this horizontal ray, I'm going to redraw this box, right? I got to copy this. Oh, I'm getting trolled right now, guys. They're like, Frankie Candles, you were late to your show, bro. We're going to troll you all day long. But there you go. So simply put, guys, like, I'm not going to go crazy on this analysis. Like, you break out of this range, get a bigger move up. Weekly money flow is lagging even further behind than some of the other alts that are lagging behind. Like, weekly money flow, like, low-key kind of coming out here. But eventually, this is likely. I believe in Atom long-term. I do believe it's a strong project with strong technology. So I do believe that this will eventually go into the green. Could just be a buying or accumulation opportunity. And honestly, there's not many of those left right now in the altcoin market. Like, a lot of them have already started to get their pumps. And there's some altcoins in the premium Discord that we've been looking at that started to move pretty big. Not pretty big, but I think they are about to start moving. They're starting to move a little bit. I think they're about to start moving pretty good. Someone said COQ. I just scrolled right past it. We could go ahead and take a look at COQ as well. Dave Digital says hi. Yo, mama's here. Shout out to Dave Digital. Wait, shout out to Crypto Billy. Thank you for the super chat. How did I read that message, and then I looked above, and literally my eyes went straight to Dave Digital's just right to Dave Digital's chat. Is my mom really here? Mom, you came back for me? Shout out to my mom. Is my mom really in here? That would be pretty funny. Your mom is. Hang on, is she really? Hang on, I'm gonna find out right now. Oh, she is here. Hi, Mom. Look at me. I'm on TV, Ma. Look at me. Shout out to my mom, guys. Show my mom some love in the chat. Seems like you guys might have already been doing that. I've just been sucked into the charts here. I didn't even know she was here. Shout out to Dave Digital. Let's go. How you feeling, Dave? Let me know. Shout out to Bruno CF said, hi, Frankie. How do I subscribe to the premium Discord? Doge is playing with my feelings. Shout out to Bruno CF. You can check the link in the description down below, or you could go to frankiecandlestrading.com. This is the way I would do it. I think it's easier to do this. Go to frankiecandlestrading.com, and you'll see it's like just scroll down is a giant thing that says get into the premium Discord. Click there, and then you should be able to get in like that. I do just want to reiterate, it is not a signals group, right? So I do not tell you when to buy or sell. I show you spoon-fed trade setups before price action gets to the level, and then we discuss what we like to look for at these levels to get into the trades. But I will not say buy now or sell now. Once in a while, I will just kind of update with like quick trade entries like, hey, guys, just took a short here. It's not a signal, though. I'm not telling you to short it. I just like to show you guys what I'm doing. And then I also walk you through why. So there you go. Let's go ahead and see, as Dave said, hopefully getting better. Shout out to Dave. I wish you a speedy recovery. The Mafia needs you, brother. Rest up, please, for the love of God. It's not the same without Dave being his own Davey self. Shout out to Dave Digital. All right, let's see. Asher Dude said, why don't we have a Mama Candles emoji at Tony D? Yeah, he's actually cutting a video right now. That may or may not be a sheep video. But yeah, shout out to Tony D. If you're hearing me right now, no need to come to chat. Please keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully feeling better. Yeah, Dave, I hope you feel better, man. But let's continue on here. That's what I'd be looking at on Adam. Real quick, I will just take a look at the lower time frames. Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest with you guys, this is such a big range that you kind of have to zoom out a lot to take a look at it. Now, nothing's going to – I mean, they did have a nice run from basically the value area low to the breakout, 64%, right? So, I'm not necessarily buying the top of these candles, but take a look at the daily. Yeah, fresh money flow crossover into the green on the daily. That's not too bad either. So, yeah, I mean, just looking real close to this, let's take a look at let me pull up the 4-hour. We could probably pull like this range right here. Yeah, I mean, you got the breakout, retest, bing bong, right to the upside. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the problem is, or not the problem, but the thing is here, when we break out, if we do break out to much higher prices, this isn't even the all-time high. This is the 2022 high. Why are we not on? Hang on one second, guys. This is actually much more exciting than you think. Yeah, so this move all the way to the value area low is 87%, right? That other chart we're looking at is January 2022, August 2021. This is what we were looking at the other day. Is it? With this little, wonked out? Yeah, because it's weird because we had the May crash, right? In 2021, you had the May crash, and then you had the November crash, and then you actually had the real bear market begin. So I actually would look at this. Yeah, so I guess, yeah. So the other chart was right. I apologize. But yeah, this is what I would be looking at as far as Adam, right? So it's not 83%. Depending on what range you pull. You could pull the range that I just had up here. It's really, really preference, to be quite honest with you. But, yeah, so 35% from this value area low. You're about 100% from the POC. And if we go back to the value area high, I mean, you're getting dangerously close to the previous all-time high at about $227, right? So there you go. If this does the same thing Sheeb did, if this does the same thing that Doge did, we could be looking between about, 40 to almost, if it does what Sheep did, we'd be looking at 183%, give or take a few bucks, obviously. But yeah, locally, guys, like it's not really like this is a no trade zone for me, right? Like I like to trade the range. I don't like to wait for a big parabolic move and then find an entry in here. What I would do if I were trading this short term is probably pull a volume profile here, but even this is like wonked out. This is a no trade zone for me. I'd be looking long term for Adam, to be quite honest with you. I'd be looking to swing trade Adam, even on leverage, right? Like putting in a chunky position on even 2x leverage or 3x leverage, but I'd be trading this like on a higher time frame, right? Like the daily, etc. So there you go. That's what we're looking at. Basically the same thing we looked at yesterday. Let's take a quick look at Jasmy. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's take a look at the Coinbase chart. So Jasmy, yeah, we just have these Fibonacci extension levels. Nothing really too fancy. Let me see if we can get a different chart. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't remember exactly what we were looking at here last time. But again, bear market range, breakout, big move up. Right now, we don't have a bull market high for Jasmy. I guess we do. Yeah, basically in November, though. That's like where it launched. So we don't really have like, it's not like an all-time high, really. It's kind of like a, right? I don't believe so. Yeah, that chart's whacked. Interesting. Wait a second. I thought this was, never mind, guys. Okay, so taking a look here. I mean, monthly naked point of control. We have come up to major resistance on Jasmy. VWAP on the daily kind of starting to climb up a bit here, but we had this first major level of resistance. Not only was it a naked monthly point of control, acting as a magnet, sucking price up to it. However, you have the 786 sitting here at 0.023048, which, again, once you get that golden pocket retracement, again, once you break that golden pocket, you're going to expect that 786 to come in, which is why this whole zone is resistance. So we have come up, tap the monthly and the 786. Could potentially get a little more of a pullback here, but I wouldn't be looking for a short here, and I'll tell you exactly why. First of all, money flow is thick on the 12 and the 16 hour. Number two, the 12 and 16 hour VWAPs are pushing to the upside. Daily VWAP also coming up, and on top of that, guys, I'll be quite frank with you, no pun intended. If we get another push up here into this next golden pocket 786 retracement zone, and we put a higher high in there, this would be a much stronger divergence as it would be forming if we can get it on the daily. So the next big bearish signal I'd look at on Jasmy is another push up into this next key zone, which, by the way, is coming in between 0.039 and 0.031, right? Put that higher high into that key level of resistance. Momentum coming out, making a lower high, giving you that open alligator mouth that is a bearish divergence, letting you know that it may be puking out some red candles. In my case, purple. So that's what I'd look at for Jasmy. So are you getting potential key levels get hit, right? Potential lower time frame divergences. I'm sure you have them. Let's see. Okay, you don't have them on the 4 hour. That's not bad. But yeah, like, could you get a cool off? Potentially. But for me, I wouldn't really be expecting the big pullback or a big pullback. And again, I'm not saying it's going to come all the way back down here. It's just a line. But, I would expect a bigger correction. Like, I would not be fading. Sure, you can scalp short this potentially if you can get the setup. But I wouldn't be expecting a big move down just because of the way Market Cipher B looks like. Typically, when you have Market Cipher B looking like this with the VWAP coming back up, that green dot prints, you get another push above the highs, and then that puts the daily bear div in, which starts a bigger downtrend or cool off before more upside. So that's what I would look at. I'm actually going to keep this, bada boom, right? And we'll see if this plays out. I'm going to grab a screenshot of that. Oftentimes, that will play out. But no guarantees. Obviously, it's going to depend on what happens when we get to those levels. All right, let's see. Shout out to Mr. 100 said, Frankie, I know it's not financial advice, but I took that dot trade last week, and I'm up huge. Shout out to Mr. 100. Now his name's Mr. 100K. Let's go. Bing bong. Congratulations, bro. Never financial advice. I'm glad that my analysis on DOT was able to give you the idea to do your own analysis on DOT and then make some moves off your own analysis. Shout out to you, bro. Bing bong. Congrats on your gains. Let's go. Shout out to Tony D. Says, I'm back. Shout out to Tony D. Tony D, let's figure out the giveaway details for the 0.02 Bitcoin. And then let's announce it either tonight in the Discord or tomorrow on the live stream. Just an update. But anyway, shout out to Tony D. Let's go. All right, next on the list, shout out to John Vucci. Shouting out Tony D. Let's take a look at Link real quick. Bada boom, bada bing. Take a look at the Coinbase chart. And here we are. Here we are. Let's see. Somebody was telling me Link might be having a sponsorship with Nike, potentially. I don't know if it's like a thing that's already happening or it's like rumors. If that happens, if Link gets a partnership with Nike, I think it was Link, potentially that could give us an easy ride up to $22.31 and potentially even up to that weekly naked point of control between $26 and $27. Now, again, I'm a technical trader, but remember, a lot of the moves do have narratives behind them, right? So, in my opinion, it's not just the chart that moves the price. It's not just the news that moves the price. It's not just the fundamentals. It's not just the tech. It's not just the team. It's a mixture of all this stuff, right? So, but for me, I pay most attention to the technicals because anytime I take a trade off the technicals, it typically just winds up coming out with a news article that just agrees with my TA. It's almost like the news watches my charts, and then they're like, looks like Chainlink's bullish. Let's make something up to pump this thing. It's very strange. But anyway, I don't know why I can't unsee Head and Shoulders today. I was like, my brain is just like super. Everything I look at, like, for some reason, these charts just all look like Head and Shoulders to me, even if they aren't or don't look like. I don't know. I just see like Head and Shoulders here. I don't know. Even if it's not a Head and Shoulders, I'm just keep seeing like Head and Shoulder shapes for some reason. Like this is not a head and inverse Head and Shoulders. Is this a regular Head and Shoulders though? Not really. It's super weird, though. I don't know why I can't unsee them. But anyway, let's continue on here. On Link, guys, really nothing has changed, right? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because, as you know, like basically everything we've been talking about on this channel for a long time with these bear market ranges breaking out to the value area lows, like all this stuff is really just, it's like kind of one of those things. Like we've been looking for this for a long time, and it's like just starting to play out now. And it's like, still remains the same. We are above this value area low in the macro, right? As long as we remain above this level at about $17, which, by the way, we did get a pretty nice dump and we never even tapped the level. We actually respected our first level of support here almost beautifully. But as long as we hold above that value area low at about, $17, I would expect this, this is still the target. We've been looking at this target forever. We keep front running it, but my target is still this naked point of control on the daily at 23.31. So I would look at this as our next key level of resistance, flip this to support. I would look to come into the next zone, which is not only a weekly naked point of control, but also the point of control of the range. So keep that in mind. And then once you get above this, you will be looking up towards that value area high, 31.40, if you are able to flip that to support. But other than that, I mean, Link remains exactly the same. Like even on the lower time frames, we've been looking at this volume profile, which we are literally sitting inside of right now, right? We've just flipped that POC to support. So locally, I mean, if you're looking for like local moves on Link, we're at $20.20. I would look for $20.52 as if you hold this POC, the next likely place for price to go is that value area high. So there you go. Those are your key levels locally and in the macro. So there you go. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. Shout out to where I see people talking about Dave Digital, and I can't find Dave. Dave, why can't I find you? Oh my, dude, it's the new profile. The new PFP, bro, is rough for me. For some reason, I can't find it, and it's the best PFP. It's you in a Frankie Candles hat. I can't think of a better profile picture than that. I actually might change my profile picture to Dave in a Frankie Candles hat. Shout out to Dave. He says it's sometimes okay when talking to your wife. Yeah, shout out to Dave. Not gonna read it out loud, but shout out to you. Let's see. Okay, let's continue on here. Let's see. So Link, I was actually the last altcoin. Don't bother putting them in right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and Gen Z says Pyth greater than Link. Gen Z, Link is the king. I stand with the. I'm just kidding, Gen Z. You could be 100% right, but we will take a look at the chart. Shout out to Gen Z. And I will actually say this too. This is something I am interested in as well. I am doing more research into the project. Something that I am looking to pick more up of. Let me see the Pyth. Tether US. I'm just trying to see the if I can get the most price history here. Bybit. All right, we'll take the Bybit chart. So on Pyth, this is kind of annoying because there's not a lot of price history. This is why I'm kind of moving around. Shout out to Gen Z. Thank you for dropping that last altcoin. Yeah, I guess there's. I guess we're looking at basically what we got here. So okay. Let's see. I'm going to get rid of these older levels, and I guess we can even get rid of this range. Actually, we'll keep that. Test that. Okay. So, and for some reason, guys, I don't know what it is. I think this is not really, maybe it is. I mean, I guess you could argue that's a head and shoulders, but I don't know what it is, guys. I literally never look at patterns. I just cannot unsee patterns. I guess it is a head and shoulders, right? I don't know. But let's take a look here. Now, this is obviously going to be very difficult to predict the next levels of resistance as we don't have much above us. But what I will do here is pull a fib, and I will also grab some naked points of control for you if we can get some. Come on, give me a nice fat MPOC on that daily wick. Come on, give it to me right here. Let's see. All right, so you got a MPOC here. You got another one right here. Boom, 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 boom. That didn't work. Okay. All right. So let's change this to this. All right. So for the most part, guys, I will say this. Next key level to the upside, in my opinion, is going to be this wick, right? You thought I was going to say this level. It's this wick, right? So we probably, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a liquidity heat map on Pyth. I doubt it. Yeah, okay. But you have to assume that there's probably a lot of people short here, which could potentially put you at risk of getting a swing failure pattern if you hit this level, which is where you get that wick above the level and then a closure of the candle below, and then you get a bigger move to the downside. So that is at 84 cents even, 84000. So that's the next key level of resistance. So I would look for a rejection there potentially. However, if you break above that level, your next main target or your next high would likely be made at about 93 cents, as there is a Fibonacci extension level there. You kind of have three. The next three extension levels are at 93, $1, and $1.08. And these would definitely be levels I'd be watching, right? So I'll just put boom, boom, and boom. There we go. Okay, so those are the next targets to the upside, in my opinion, and I would even go as far to pull this range. So here's some local resistance as well. Bada boom, bada bing. So there you go. I mean, we're already hitting this golden pocket. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to turn it off because we're already testing it. If we're going to reject it, we'll reject it. But really, the next major level I'd be watching is going to be that 786. So we come up to the value area high. Could give you a little bit of resistance, right? So maybe, you know, at this point, you're above the POC. So the next level you would expect is that value area high, 786. Once you flip the 786, I would look for an attack on this previous high right here, where we could get a swing failure pattern. We're just giving it all away right now. And then that could drag you back into the range and bring you back down to the low. And if you get a decisive breakout above all of this, you're going to be looking up towards these three next extension levels. Just wanted to add a little bit of extra sauce on that last coin. I don't know. Might not play out, but these, I think, are pretty sound levels, and that would be potentially maybe a sound trading plan if you got the confirmations. So there you go. Bada boom. Shout out to Genesis said, bro, I saw your volume vid, and I wonder how you managed to determine when it could be the last bounce from the bottom of the value area. You TP1 on value area high and just pray and just try again if it bounces off the value area low and stops you out. Shout out to Genesis. If I'm understanding this correctly, you're asking just hit me with the yes in chat. You don't have to super chat. I assume you're asking, right? And we're kind of winding down here, but I will just go ahead and teach you what I think you're asking, or you might be learning a lesson that you didn't ask for. And if that's the case, I apologize. But this is our volume profile, say, right? Your value area high. Say this is your value area high. This is your POC. And this is your value area low. Okay, and then your volume, right, is like over here doing something like this. Right? That's typically what your volume profile will look like. And I think you're asking, oftentimes this is how we trade, right? We look for a move to the value area low. Even if we deviate below, we look for those bullish confirmations to re-enter the range, go to the POC, and then the value area high. And then once we get above the value area high, we would look for our bearish confirmations up here. This is where we're looking for shorts, where all the other retail is FOMOing into longs. Doing what? Leaving their liquidity below, which would act as jet fuel to push us to the downside, right? So if I got a bearish confirmation up here, I would look for a short to potentially enter back into the range and then go to the POC and then potentially the value area low. So I think what you're asking is, how do you know, right, if you're going to go from the high to the low, the high to the low, how do you know when that last bounce is going to happen on the low so you can, plan to hold it for the breakout? And the answer to that question is, there's kind of no way to tell, but there's also some things you can do to try and predict it, right? And what I would do, for example, if I pull up something like Doge, right? Let me pull up Doge. This is shout out to Gen Z. You're asking the right questions, bro. But I will tell you this. This is what I would look for. Now, the way I do it is I'm not looking at, you could analyze the range on order flow, right? I'm not going to go over this, but you could try to analyze, what is going on at the low of each range, like what is the volume doing? Again, I'm not going to get into that. I would use something like order flow to try to look for that. I would look for a big amount of absorption at a low to try to potentially predict that, but that's not even really that sound. What I would do and how I would look at it is I use Market Cipher, right? And in my opinion, this is like the best way to do it. So simply put, and if you guys want to sign up for Market Cipher, I am so bad at doing this. I already hate shilling the likes, even though it helps the channel like crazy. But if you guys want to save money on Market Cipher, you can use the link in the description down below. If you're already going to get it, you can save 20% with my discount code MCFrank20, or just use the link in the description. But this is what I would look for. There is a few things on the altcoins that made me think that they were bottoming out. And there's things that we went over on the live stream many times. And if you've been here, you'll remember one thing. We looked at a lot of the altcoins and said, hey, we're putting in 2-day bullish divergences in on these lows, right? We're coming down. We put in these 2-day bullish divergences. And not only that, but we had money flow coming up as well. And what do we always say about these bullish divergences? When you have money flow in agreement with them, that's typically where you see the big move. Now, on Market Cipher, it's all about flow, right? Your momentum is flowing to the upside. Your money flow is also trending to the upside, right? This is letting you know, and then once you cross into the green, that might start the bigger trend up. So for me, the signal, I'm still looking, right? If you go into bar replay mode, Gen Z, this is like a personal class for you because I like Gen Z. Gen Z's the man. But you're coming down here and I'm already looking for a long, right? Like I'm already looking, potentially for a long or potentially to buy the dip. But what's going on here? Not only are we getting a bull div, right, at the value area low, it's the value area and it's a weekly bull div, right? And did I say 2-day? Hang on. So we had a weekly bull div here as well. But really, I said 2-day because the 2-day is really what we were looking at. These 2-day bull divs on Market Cipher, higher lows, lower lows. This was the bottom for all the altcoins. And we didn't know for sure, but we were saying like this could be a likely situation where we see those bottoms come in, right? So at this point, right, I'm not really trying to front run the actual bottom, but I'm already looking at longs down here, right? We're putting in higher time frame bull divs, even on the daily, right? Like you're putting in daily bull divs, higher lows, lower lows, at a macro, not just some local value area low. This is a macro value area low. And you're taking into consideration where you're sitting in the 4-year cycle. you're taking into consideration the weekly money flow. Not only do you have daily 2-day bull divs, but you're also getting a weekly bull div as well. So I'm not longing here. Like, you could take a shot here and say, I think this is the bottom. But that's how that's like the only way I would really know to figure out if that's the last test, right? And now you did have a bull div down here, lower lows, higher lows, but what's your money flow doing, right? Your money flow is not trending really to the upside. Sure, you could argue, you know, technically it's like kind of coming up a tiny bit, but it's not trending up. Like, you can see over time, this has been making consistent higher lows, which is a much stronger signal that that's a strong bottom. On top of the key support, on top of your weekly, your weekly money flow, if you look at any coin, look at Bitcoin, look at the altcoins, when that weekly money flow crosses over into the red or the green, like, this is go time, either up or down. The weekly money flow is like, anytime the weekly money flow is in the red, and this is what we taught in the beginning of the channel when we were just starting to come down, on Bitcoin and the altcoins, once you're in the red with money flow, you let that red money flow come in on the weekly, and then as you're in that red wave, this is where you DCA. And if you did that historically, you would have been buying the bottom of the bear market. And you guys know, if you've been around, you'll be like, oh my God, I've seen him do this 100 times. We compare it to all the other cycles. Weekly money flow crossover in the red, bottom of the bear market. Weekly money flow, bottom of the bear market, weekly money flow crossover into the red, right? These all line up perfectly. And then we were saying, hey, if you were buying when the money flow is in the red, money flow in the red, bottom of the bear market, right? We were saying, and obviously approaching it agnostically, saying, you know, we don't know if this is going to play out, but historically, this money flow in the red has been the best time to buy Bitcoin. I mean, I bit the bullet, and I was in on all this, right? And it wound up being the exact same scenario, right? As soon as we cross over into the green, bing bong, right to the upside. So there you go, Gen Z. I know that was a little long-winded, brother. So yeah, that's how I would try to predict it. But it's kind of just like a mixture of all different. It's the answer for every TA question. There's really no easy answer, but that's how I do it. Where are we in the cycle? What is the higher time frame saying? Are we at a key macro level of support? What's money flow doing? And when you have those money flow crossovers into the green, I mean, they only happen. We've only had 1, 2, 3 really major money flow crossovers on Dogecoin, and they all ended in explosive bull runs, right? Money flow started in the green here, massive bull run, crossed over into the green here, massive bull run, crossed into the green here, massive bull run. I mean, this is Bitcoin, crossed into the green, massive bull run. I don't know. So that's how you do it, guys. Giving away the freebies. Let's go. Let's see. Gen Z says, all coins will pump if BTC goes up, guys. It's just a few that will give you extra pumps. Yeah, pretty much for the most part. But with the, shout out to Golden. Thank you for the super chat. 2 super chats. Let's go. Golden says, you're on fire with free top level TA today. Thank you. Shout out to Golden. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. We're just up here doing what we like. And by we, I guess I mean me. But shout out to Golden again. Says, yo, Tony D, make sure our boy gets his hair done every 2 weeks. His TA is on another level. LFG. Shout out to Golden. We love you, bro. Not only me, the whole Candle Mafia. But with all that being said, guys, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I think I've basically been shrinking for the last 20 minutes of this stream. So with all that being said, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Shout out to anybody out there making gains. I'm sorry for the late stream. But yeah. Hopefully, maybe we get a little pullback on Bitcoin, but still going to be waiting. Even if we pull back, going to be looking for those all-time highs unless we start seeing some super bearish signals. And if we do, I'll be updating you guys tomorrow right here, same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. Hasta pasta, Mafia. That's all I got. Frank Candles out. Bing bong.
Frank Bailey. Praise be to the God above at the night. All I wanna do is love, I don't wanna fight. Why you coming at me telling me to get in line? I can see the pride coming up out your eyes, I'm not surprised.
How can I do this? You sound like Judas, confide in the doula. I see mountain trying to move her, you live for the moolah. That's kinda cool, I'm frying the noodles. You pray to Buddha, I bow to Yeshua. I ain't that foolish, no. I've been on the road too long, the Pro Tools broke, but folks who hope. They got anxiety, but cope with dope. Why you think they listen to NF? Why you think we go to service, never hear the message? Attention span gone, the Instagram one. We give the bread off for likes to get on. We build a kingdom, but where was God's son? I don't need no spot at your table, I'm here to see his will done.
Holla, 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 don't forget about the game, yeah. If it ain't about progression, better get it out my face. And shook by your aggression, but we running our own race. We can't stop the blessing, film, just get up out our way. We don't need no spot at your table. My team versus your team, you can't be my stable. We don't need no spot at your table. My team versus your team, you can't be my stable.
I used to call people.
No way. Shout out to Gen Z. I knew something was going on in chat. Yo, shout out to you guys are crazy. Gen Z said, thanks for the credit, but Genesis was the one that asked. Shout out to Genesis, Gen Z. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I was late to the stream, but shout out to both of you guys, and shout out to Wick. Said something about, he said it's the band of hair theory. Frankie's head gets squeezed. Frankie's head gets squeezed if too much hair gets between him and his hat. I don't know what that's in reference to, but Wick, you just made me scream laugh. I read that, and I was like, I don't even know what that means, but that made me scream laugh. Shout out to the Mafia, and shout out to Genesis. Genesis also says, you're such an amazing teacher. After my 5K loss yesterday, if you guys remember that, we talked about that, Genesis, didn't we? I think we did. He said, and I'm up 3K already. Thanks so much to your lectures. Woohoo! Shout out to Genesis, and shout out to the Candle Mafia. I love each and every single one of you guys. If I could do it, if Genesis could do it, so can you. That's all I got. Frankie Candle's out. Bing bong!
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go, yeah we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out.